These are the top stories this hour. St. Kitts and Nevis is represented at a cyber summit in Washington, D.C. Investigations continue into police killings in St. Lucia. And Nigerian ground forces have reclaimed areas formerly seized by Boko Haram. Good afternoon. Welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, the 10th day of March 2015. I'm Ebony Brandon. Now we take a look at the news developments in detail. Constable Travis Henry of the Police Forces Cyber Unit is representing St. Kitts and Nevis this week at an Organization of American States training course in Washington, D.C. on Computer Security Incident Response Teams, or CSIRTs. The training is aimed at technical staff responsible for the development and management of CSIRTs and includes participants from Dominica, the Dominican Republic, Honduras, Nicaragua, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. The opening of the event, organized by the Cybersecurity Program of the Inter-American Committee Against Terrorism of the OAS, included remarks by the interim representative of Canada to the OAS, Jennifer Lowton. She said recent decades have demonstrated that the Internet is playing an increasingly important role in the public and private sectors, fundamentally altering the way of doing business and delivering services and shaping the new social and cultural vibrancy of various countries. In that context, she continued, a secure and reliable Internet is necessary to advance competitiveness in the global market as individuals and businesses rely on secure and stable digital infrastructure for business transactions, the protection of personal business information, and others. A photojournalist from Canada is in St. Kitts studying the stone carvings or petroglyphs made by the Caribs hundreds of years ago. Roger Stanley has been documenting the historic markings and has been uncovering hidden petroglyphs along the way.
And Bloody River, Bloody Point, I've uncovered about 50 of them that are still left on the walls of the canyon there. And the other one is West Farm on a rock down by the ocean. And the last one that I came across was Verchild up in the trees, up in the river there.
Stanley plans to compile the photographs into a book and present it to the National Museum. Residents in St. Kitts and Nevis will raise their voices against crime and highlight the causes, effects, and possible solutions when they participate in the finals of Brainstorm, a spoken word slam. The finals will be held on Saturday, March 14 at the All Girls School at 6 p.m. and feature performances by 10 dynamic authors and poets. Brainstorm is part of a larger community challenge project being implemented by Positively Inclined in collaboration with Arts Arise. It falls under the Social Innovation for Change project funded by the United Nations Development Program. Founder of Positively Inclined, Irvin Welsh, revealed that his project started back in January with an awareness campaign that included discussions at high schools in St. Kitts and Nevis with several media houses. On February 28th, a closed-set performance saw participants present their thoughts on positivity and politics. The performances were filmed and the videos assessed by a panel of judges. Online votes were also used to select the finalists who will present the theme Crime, Causes, Effects, and the Cure. Welsh explained that the topic was designed to stimulate discussion. He said many times people who have really deep perspectives and a lot to contribute are often silent but tend to put pen to paper, so they're trying to reach those people and hear what they have to say. In regional developments out of St. Lucia, former United Workers' Party Minister Richard Frederick claims the Director of Public Prosecutions may not be able to legally move to prosecute police officers involved in the 12 extrajudicial killings of 2010 to 2011. According to Frederick, inquiries into the deaths of some men concluded the police killings were justified. Therefore, Frederick says the hands of the DPP are tied.
Of the Stephenson King-led UWP administration, under whose watch the controversial Operation Restore Confidence was launched. St. Lucia's human rights practices under the spotlight of the U.S. State Department resulted in the suspension of defense aid and eventually a CARICOM impacts investigation to ascertain the validity of allegations of extrajudicial killings by police. The question of criminal prosecution is solely the discretion of the Director of Public Prosecutions, who Prime Minister Dr. Kenny Anthony explains has to determine after evaluating and assessing the probative value of the evidence placed before her. However, Frederick, who is also a lawyer, has doubts, pointing to previously completed coroner's inquests.
I'm afraid, but the DPP's hands would obviously be tied. because you have a situation where a court duly constituted, that is constitutionally based, delivered findings in some of the circumstances and essentially found in a nutshell that the killings were justified in a nutshell. You cannot, on the other hand, having been given those findings from a duly constituted court, have a commission to conduct an inquiry, the basis of which can be criminal proceedings. That just cannot happen because invariably a court has already adjudicated over the matter.
Frederick argues the Director of Public Prosecution cannot proceed with legal action against the police officers given the decisions in the inquests into some of the police killings from 2010 to 2011.
When there is a killing, the justification or non-justification thereof is determined by a court. If the court finds that there was negligence or there was criminal responsibility or culpability, then the court would make that pronouncement. At that point, the DPP will be empowered based on the pronouncement of the court to proceed criminally or not to proceed. If, however, the court finds that, look, the killing was justified, then there is absolutely nothing a DPP can do in light of that finding by a duly constituted court.
Prime Minister Dr. Anthony, in an address to the nation on the impacts report on Sunday night, says the government, quote, will make provision in this year's estimates of expenditure for the appointment of special prosecutors to assist in the prosecution of any cases should the Director of Prosecutions so decide to prosecute. Jade Brown, HTS News Force.
Former President of Ghana, Dr. Barrett Jagdiew, has caused a stir following a controversial address at a rally held to honor the late President Dr. ZIZ Mid. The opposition in Ghana have accused Jagdiew of race baiting and has pledged to draw the incident to the attention of the Ghana Elections Commission and international human rights organizations.
The APN-UFC coalition is crafting a response to former President Barrett Jagdiew outburst at Babu John on Sunday. When Jagdiew took to the podium, he wasted little time to go after the opposition. The opposition is not taking a liking to what they described as race baiting and inciting racial tension by Jagdiew.
They have tried to stymie every single plan. And Donald, you're a democratic man. Sometimes we need to administer something else, some kicks up some asses too.
The statement could clearly be seen as race baiting and could be of interest to the Ghana Elections Commission. Today, General Secretary of the PPP, Clement Roy, backed up Jagdiew's statement.
What's wrong with that? It's a politician speaking. I don't see anything wrong with that. Listen, we went there as a team. All three of us, the President, former President, and myself, are members of the leadership of the party, the Central Committee and the Executive Committee. We stand by what was said by each other, by each one.
At Babu John, the former president further attacked the opposition parties, describing President Donald Ramatar as too democratic to deal with the opposition in the 10th Parliament. His reaction was typical Jagdiew style.
In the last elections, they went to some of the Afro-Guyanese villages and beat some drums at 6 o'clock in the morning and say, let us throw these Kuli people. Get up, go out and vote, throw out the Kuli people. That's the kind of language they use.
And Roy at Freedom House weekly press conference had no objections to Jagdiew's statement.
The People's Progressive Party's membership, support and sympathizers are overwhelmingly East Indian supporters, East Indian people. And to put it in a popular way, they're Indian, some people call them Indian, some people call them Kuli people, and so forth. So I suppose in putting it over that way, the former president was using the local jargon as seeking to make a connection with the people and the way they are seen by others.
The Babu John event to honor the life of the PPP's founder leader Dr. ZIZ Mid has over the years been watered down and used as a platform by the party to attack all on sundry and in whatever manner the party chooses to. The event has seen poor attendance over the years. On Sunday, trucks of persons were brought to the venue, and the youth arm, the PYO, also gathered a large contingent to boost the audience figure. The PPP has seen fading fortunes in Berbice, the sugar belt. In fact, one of Jagdiew's biggest failure while in office has been the new Skeldon sugar factory. At $181 million, it was hailed as the boon to the survival of the industry. But that did not materialize, and work is still ongoing to fix the defects even before the factory can operate to its maximum capacity. Reporting for Capital News, Royston Drakes.
Internationally, military sources in Nigeria say their ground forces are starting to reclaim areas seized by Boko Haram militants. We hear more in this report.
Military sources in Nigeria say their ground forces are starting to reclaim areas seized by Boko Haram militants. In the past months, the Islamist group has taken control of Nigerian towns and military bases in the northeast, but the army says normalcy has now been restored to some regions.
We have reclaimed all captured territories. As we are speaking, Madagali is just the only local government that is yet to be recovered, which I believe that very soon, shortly it will be recovered. So normalcy has been restored.
A multinational force has been mobilized to help Nigeria defeat Boko Haram. In recent days, thousands of troops have crossed the country's northern and eastern borders with the aim of taking back key towns. Military sources from Niger and Chad said 15 soldiers from the five-nation coalition died in a joint offensive over the weekend. Another military source claimed 300 militants had been killed in the same operations.
Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has launched a verbal attack against President Barack Obama, saying that the U.S. imperialists' elite had taken on the task of defeating his government.
President Barack Obama, in the name of the U.S. imperialist elite, has decided to personally take on the task of defeating my government, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced after the U.S. declared the oil-rich country a national security threat and ordered sanctions against 7 officials. During a 2-hour speech, the leader declared he would seek decree powers to counter the threat posed by the U.S. Maduro accused his American counterpart of imperial arrogance, saying he'd made a colossal mistake, and also called home the Venezuelan chargé d'affaires from Washington. Today, President Barack Obama has taken the most aggressive, unjust and harmful step that has ever been taken by the US against Venezuela, he said. The move has fueled tensions between the two nations at a time when US relations with key Venezuelan ally Cuba are starting to thaw. US officials insist the energy sector and broader economy have not been penalized, claiming the sanctions target individuals who have violated the human rights of Venezuelan citizens or have engaged in acts of public corruption.
In the weather today, partly sunny conditions in general with brief locally cloudy periods and a chance of light passing showers are possible. Tonight will be partly cloudy in general with brief locally cloudy periods and a chance of light passing showers. A moderate to strong breeze will continue to blow over the islands of the Eastern Caribbean today as well as tonight and transport patches of low-level clouds over these islands occasionally. The weather has brought us to the end of the ZIZ Midday newscast. Thank you so much for watching. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. I'm your presenter, Ebony Brandon.